Hey, welcome to Keyboard Curmudgeons, and today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite keyboard finds that I've ever had. Probably the best keyboard find that I've ever had. The Roland SH-1000. So if you can believe it or not, I found this beautiful instrument up in Cleveland, Ohio, and I found it on Let Go, which is one of the world's worst sites for buying keyboards, I think, because I'm constantly finding stuff on Let Go that I absolutely love, and I try and contact people, and no one ever looks at their messages on the app. But this time was very different. I was in Cleveland, Ohio, up there hanging out with my family and my daughter, who was looking at a college up there, John Carroll University. Go Blue Streaks. And I found this little gem on an ad on Let Go, and believe it or not, I picked up this fabulous vintage synthesizer for $20. So what we're going to do today is we're going to explore some of the sounds of this wonderful little keyboard. Now mine is in very good working condition, but it's missing a few of the hard to find parts, and it does need a restoration. So in future episodes, we will do a restoration on this keyboard, but everything works on it. So basically we'll just have to clean up the contacts, and I think I want to replace some of these side panels that are simulated wood, and I want to replace them with real wood and do a really cool upgrade on this keyboard. So the first thing you'll notice about this keyboard is the form factor of it is very similar to other keyboards of the time. These were usually designed to sit on top of an organ, maybe a Hammond organ if you were a rock and roll player, and to give you lots of other sound options. Okay, so let's just dig into this Roland SH-1000 and listen to some of the preset sounds. So the preset sounds on this instrument I think are great. We're going to go through and listen to some of them right now. We're going to start with the tuba sound, which I think you might agree actually sounds like a tuba. And then we get into the trumpet sound, also very realistic. They have a saxophone sound, okay, not too bad. This is a really cool sound. You guys are going to like this. This is the flute sound. It's a nice flute sound there. Then we have some reed sounds like a clarinet. Then we have the oboe sound. And we have a violin sound. And we have bass guitar. Now you can kind of hear the notes kind of double triggering like that. You're kind of getting one trigger when you push down the note and one when you let up. That's because the contacts underneath those keys are dirty. I haven't looked at it yet, but I imagine it's like a spring style contact that needs to be cleaned up. So the last preset I want to look at is harpsichord. This is a great sounding harpsichord in my book. Okay, so we've kind of looked at some of the presets on this instrument. Let's look at the synthesizer section, which is really cool. You've got all kinds of different waveforms that you can pick here with the tabs. As you can see, my instrument is missing a couple of these tabs, and they're really hard to find. They come off really easy. Obviously, because of the location on the instrument, these instruments are vintage, and everyone has tabs that have broken off because they're in this spot in the front of the instrument where they can be easily broken. So mine's missing a few knobs. When we do our restoration, we're going to figure out a way to create some more of these from scratch. But we've got all kinds of different waveforms here in different footages, which are like octaves. There's really, really low octaves. We've even got a noise source, got white noise, pink noise. So you can mix all those together, use them all at the same time, or whatever you want to do. One of the things that's great about this instrument is it just makes some great lead sounds that are your classic monophonic synthesizer sounds that you would hear in popular music from the 70s. So you've got a really nice vibrato that you can bring in. The filter, you can open up the filter. You just really got a great sounding filter on it. So there's lots of stuff you can do, and the instrument just sounds great. There's different ways that you can route the modulation. You have a tremolo here, which has a rate control. And this routes the modulation towards the amplifier or towards the filter. I'm sorry, towards the amplifier or towards the filter or towards the tuning of the oscillator. So like you can get, that's where you get your whereas tremolo, what they call tremolo, that's how much modulation you're sending to the amplifier. And you can switch that around and do all sorts of things down here too. So you can create like a repeat function, which is nice. So this is just a great keyboard. This very much reminds me of the first synthesizer I ever owned, which was made by Korg. It has a very similar form factor to it with all the buttons on the front. Again, these keyboards, you know, when the manufacturers made them, they kind of envisioned keyboard players using them sitting on top of another keyboard like an organ. And that's why they have this form factor. But unlike the Mini Korg, this instrument has those presets, which the Mini Korg did not, but the Mini Korg has all the other features are very similar. So in America, while Bob Moog was making very high quality synthesizers like the Mini Moog, they were still pretty expensive. Not quite as expensive as like a modular setup, but the Mini Moog was still probably around $1,000 or more. These instruments were priced at $300 or $400. Instruments like this and the Mini Korg. There's also a Moog synthesizer that has a very similar form factor. I believe it's called the Minute Moog. So these were all brought out so that just, you know, regular playing musicians could afford synthesizers. And to me, it's just a great old vintage keyboard. I believe this is really the first model monophonic synthesizer that Roland produced in Japan for sales in the United States market and in the European market. And that's just some of the stuff that makes this instrument really cool. One thing I should mention about mine is it has this music stand, which is very rare. These are often lost or discarded, and so it's very rare to have the music stand with it. I'm happy my instrument has that. These things are super heavy. I mean, this synthesizer here is probably as heavy as my Moog Little Fatty, and just for the time, the case is made out of metal, and we have simulated wood here, but it's a real heavy build quality. If you look on the back, you can control the filter with a pedal, and this works with modern tip ring sleeve type pedals that you connect to other keyboards. This connection here activates what they call a glide switch, which is more of a pitch bend kind of device. So when you step on the foot pedal that you plug in there, it's the same as pushing the glide button. And then there's a tuning knob. Whoops. There's a tuning knob, and I got the hold on here. Okay, sorry about that. Tuning knob, and then there's also an output with switchable output levels, which is kind of nice. So if you're playing it through a guitar amp like we are today, you can have it on the medium or low setting, or if you're playing through a PA or into a mixer, you might want it on the high setting. So that today is just a quick look at one of my favorite finds I ever found. Like I said, I did find this keyboard on Letgo, which is amazing because I often see keyboards I want to buy on Letgo, and you guys that are out there trying to sell stuff on Letgo, I would tell you that, like, please look at the app every once in a while after you put an ad up, because there are many things on Letgo in my area right now that I'm trying to buy, and I just send endless messages out to these people, and they rarely respond. So I've had okay success with Letgo as far as selling instruments myself. So I do like to buy and sell things, and but this is probably my favorite thing I ever bought, and definitely the best deal I ever got. $20 for a vintage instrument like this in any condition would be a great deal. I mean, just these replacement tabs on this on eBay, I was trying to find some, and if you can find some, they sell for about $10 each. So you can see, if this instrument didn't work at all, I could have parted it out and made lots of money on that deal. So just a great instrument. Okay, so thanks for joining us on Keyboard Curmudgeons today. And we took a look at the SH-1000. It's a fun keyboard, and as you can see, we've just got tons of stuff to explore here inside the keyboard workshop, which is within the keyboard cave. And we're going to talk about all kinds of great things on our upcoming episodes, so please join us. And especially if you liked this episode, or maybe even if you didn't, please leave a comment below, or you can like us, you can share this site, you can subscribe. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time on Keyboard Curmudgeons. Woo.